Let's go. Yes, what's going on, fans? Oh, God, let me start that again. Oh, shit. Yes, what's up, listeners? It's your boy, Skillit. We're here for another episode of The Kickout. But it's just myself and my homeboy, Meks, doing this one today. Meks,
what's up, people?
Debuted last week at the Kickout podcast to a great reaction. Before we start this episode, Meks, please give us your thoughts on your reaction of the people loving that you've joined the clique.
People showing the love out there, making me feel like I come out number 30 in the Rumble and I'm going to WrestleMania to do my little point and everything.
That's the reaction I was hoping you would get. So yes.
It was really nice. And like I said, I just want to be here, make one of my favorite wrestling podcasts that I've been listening to for years. Just do its thing and just want to offer it something different that everyone else was bringing different things to the table. So yeah.
So yeah, for those who've never listened to this show before and you're new to the show, The Kickout is normally a weekly rundown of everything WWE, NXT, AEW. I mean, WWE is NXT, but you know what I mean, Raw, pay-per-views, whatever. But I think we're going to switch it up a bit as well, do a bit more fun categories, a bit more fun, mentioning little games here and there, and do different concepts week by week, which we'll get into. But we also do a lot of interviews with a lot of WWE superstars and whatnot. But today we're gonna just do a quick rundown of the things that's happened since Monday Night Raw last week. But before we do that, actually, I want to ask you a question, Meks, because I noticed on your show with Black Alliance that you guys have that collaboration show together. Can you please tell the people what's the name of that show for me, please?
That is Wrestle Extra. It's every Tuesday on my YouTube channel, every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. UK time. We run through all things that is Black wrestling and pertains to Black wrestling. And good show. This week we've got Devon Dudley interview on the show.
We had a Devon Dudley interview. And where can they find your WrestleManiac UK? Obviously.
Yeah, WrestleManiac UK on YouTube.
And how was the interview with Devon?
It was really good. He gave us more time than we ever asked for. It's almost as if he wanted to say something. He wanted to get something off his chest. And obviously coming out from earlier on in the week, or last week, in fact, there was a press release where Devon Dudley had spoken negatively somewhat of the younger stars in the business, that they're not very respectful, this, that, and the other. So it obviously, for us, we jumped on that and we asked him, tell us a bit more about that. And he elaborated. I won't give you too much. You can go and watch the video for everything. But just a great guy and telling us about his upcoming in the business as a Black wrestler and things he couldn't get away with, but like the likes of Bubba Ray could. So
interesting.
Really good.
Okay, and you guys did raise the question about the respectfulness. That's what you were just referring to, right?
Yeah. We spoke about that. So again, he elaborated on what was said, what he meant, and then of course the dirt sheets taking some of it out of context.
And he never mentioned any names.
No, he didn't. But in his initial statement, he did mention the likes of Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, some other guys are very respectful. He didn't name who wasn't, though.
That's interesting. Okay, cool. And I'm assuming you got to see Dynamite last week after Monday Night Raw.
Yes, yeah.
Should we talk about that?
Yes, of course. The talk of the town.
Well, before we get to the main event of AEW Dynamite, I want to know, because obviously you've been reporting Dynamite on your shows weekly as well. What is your thought on AEW since its debut, coming into the wrestling world? And has it, in your opinion, and I'm going to give you my opinion afterwards, but has it taken a long time for it to be the show that it was promising to be?
I don't know. I didn't really have much expectations for it. Like, I just thought, great, another wrestling show, which is going to be on TV where, these guys can go ply their trade, make money. Cool. I think obviously with the exodus of all the USA guys that are based in Japan coming over to it, that's obviously done Japan some harm in that sense. But I've never had much expectations of it. I've liked the fact it's broadened my horizons. It's brought me on some new guys that were thriving in the indies, especially. I like the fact it's given WWE guys another chance in case, it wasn't working for them in WWE. Although I think the only guy that's really succeeded is Moxley, Dean Ambrose. we can get into that. But yeah, I think it's done very well. The comparisons between AEW and WWE are, I'm not here for it, because WWE is a complete juggernaut. They're not on the same day as WWE to start off with. Yes, they are beating NXT in the ratings week in, week out, but you know, NXT is WWE's third show. So without doing them a disservice, it's not really a fair comparison anyway, is it? But I'm happy that it exists, and you know, it's not a monopoly basically.
You know, it's interesting because NXT at one point was my favorite WWE show.
100%. Same.
Since its incarnation in 2014, I loved NXT, and I just feel like I haven't watched NXT since last year WrestleMania, or maybe after Money in the Bank last year. I actually haven't watched NXT.
You know what the thing is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. It was what I noticed as soon as AEW was coming on, and then obviously I'm not watching either of these live, but I'm watching them back to back. So first thing, I wake up on a Thursday morning, I'm watching NXT and then AEW, NXT and then AEW, and that was my pattern for a while. I now watch AEW before NXT, but still back to back. I noticed that AEW is a TV show. It's a wrestling show, but it's got the very much the entertainment aspect, whereas NXT is heavily a wrestling show with not much in the way of TV entertainment. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you. All right, okay. I think like I'm gonna try and revisit it. Are you up to date with NXT?
Yeah.
Anything noteworthy? I know that Camp and Pete Dunne and Finn are gonna be going into a feud.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be really good. Finn Balor, Pete Dunne.
My homegirl Xia Li, she's getting a big push.
Yeah, she looks really good right now.
So okay, all right. There's things I could probably have a look out for, but I mean, obviously, I've just only started watching wrestling again. I think things are going to slowly be creeping back into normality for me in terms of my regular viewing. All right, let's talk about AEW. Remind me how that show started, the Dynamite.
Oh gosh, how the show started. The Battle Royal. They had the
Jericho and MJF.
And Jericho and MJF won, yeah, the tag team battle royal. For the winners would face the Young Bucks at Revolution, which is their pay-per-view early March.
So I'm really enjoying this whole feud. Well, the inner feud that's boiling from the inner circle. You know, you've got Sammy Guevara, falling out with MJF, and then that's kind of starting a rift. There was a time where there was like Santana and what's Santana's brother's name again? I'm really bad.
Ortiz.
They were also having a little bit of a dispute with Jericho and MJF, and obviously, but it looks like when they're still in the same page, Sammy's the one that's still having the issue.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting to see that MJF spoke to the rest of the team when Sammy walked out after after Jericho and MJF won the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
And MJF said, "Listen, we need to have a conversation." So I'm assuming next week, or Dynamite coming this Wednesday, they're gonna probably try and kick Sammy Guevara out the group.
It would be interesting.
What does that leave Swagger? I mean, what's his name? Hager, Jack.
Jack Hager.
What does that leave him?
I don't know. I don't think he's such a critical piece in a circle in terms of he's just one of the heavies. He's just another character there, MJF, Jericho, Sammy Guevara, like you said, these are some of the kind of more critical moving pieces. I think Hager will go wherever Jericho goes. So, yeah, he's pretty much like the Wardlow equivalent.
Yes, he is. Yeah, so Guevara might be kicked out, basically.
It's looking that way.
Interesting. Okay. What is your thoughts on Sting and oh my God,
Darby Allin?
Sting and Darby Allin.
You know what, bro? I can't lie. I'm not here for it. Like, it was brilliant to see Sting back. Yeah. But, like, ever since then, he hasn't done nothing. We can't come out every week and we get the Tony Schiavone, it's Sting. Like, bro, this ain't the 90s anymore. Like, we enjoyed it then. We even enjoyed it when you ran it back a couple times, in the last couple of months. But it's like, is this all you guys have to offer? Darby Allin is the TNT champion, defended that title once since he's won it against Brian Cage. Should he be beating someone the size of Brian Cage? That's another conversation for another day. But like, I just think like him as a character, Darby Allin, which was on, a rising, he's on a trajectory, and it's like now it's like he's a bit stagnant, and I guess they put Sting with him to help get him to that next level, and it's not happening, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'm going to be honest, man. I don't think I was that excited for that. It's funny because when Sting debuted in AEW was a time when I wasn't really watching wrestling. So I actually tuned into that to see that during the time when I wasn't watching wrestling. So that shows you how much Sting means to me as a wrestling fan. I wasn't, when they did the debut, I was a bit like, yeah, I wasn't so gassed.
Yeah.
I could understand why he never got used in WWE after the injury with Seth Rollins. I totally understood it. I mean, I was there when Sting did the Hall of Fame speech, the Hall of Fame ceremony. I was actually
there.
So I was kind of like okay with Sting not wrestling, like being in the forefront of wrestling anymore. But yeah, I'm not surprised that this ain't really paying off like it should do. I do think that the Darby Allin Sting thing, I felt that was a kind of a good matching between the two. But I kind of feel like Sting should be his advocate and not his tag team partner. But
I just thought, I kind of thought it was doomed from the beginning, but I thought AEW have been writing good stories, in my opinion. So I know they'll find a good way to do this. But right now, it looks like the only thing they have in common is the face painting thing. And that looks exactly the reason why you've been put together, which is a very stupid, premise if that is what you guys are going for, that just because you both have a face paint of white and black, that you should be paired together.
Talk to me about this women's tournament. I don't know too much about it. I know there's a women's tournament that AEW are going to showcase. Is that for a number one contendership for the women's title? Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. So what's exciting about it is that they're having a USA and a Japanese brackets. So half of the tournament will take place, I think, pre-recorded in Japan. Maybe they're going to set up an AEW ring somewhere. They're obviously getting a lot of women from Stardom and promotions in Japan like that, Joshi Wrestling and stuff like that. And then they're going to have the other half in AEW, which will obviously then combine in a AEW American woman wrestler taking on the Japanese wrestler, and then the winner will take on Shida, the champion, at Revolution, I think.
Okay, that's brilliant. And they've announced some wrestlers, haven't they?
Yeah, they've announced. I think they've announced the whole field at this point. Yeah, some of the names some of the Japanese names are ones that we've already seen in AEW before the pandemic happened. There's some other exciting names like Maki Ito over there, which is she's an absolutely crazy woman, so it'll be interesting to see her. But yeah, I think it's unfortunate for Shida, who's the current champion, because she hasn't set the world alight despite having the longest run since the inception of AEW. Just a very good wrestler, which they haven't really given anything to in terms of story. Most weeks she's not even on the show, despite her being there. When she is on the show, she's in the crowd and they just pan to her like she's not even the women's champion. Like, yeah, it's not great, but
what was it? There was something else happening. Oh, talk to us. Let's talk about the wedding.
Oh God, the wedding.
I mean, it was quite obvious that cake was going to be filled with orange juice.
Yeah.
Miro tried his best, I guess, to keep that segment somewhat entertaining. I found it quite cringeful. I couldn't watch all of it. I kind of skipped through a lot of the wedding speeches, and obviously, so obviously, Miro had, what's the name of the wrestler Miro has as the butler, because he's from Best Friends.
Chuck Taylor.
Chuck Taylor. So Miro had Chuck Taylor as his butler, and obviously this is the time where Chuck Taylor's finally had enough. He did some plan with Orange Juice Cassidy to disrupt the wedding.
Yeah.
And the name, and because I haven't even mentioned the people that was getting married. It was
Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford.
That's it. There we go.
Yeah.
And they were saying their vows and whatnot, and then Miro was gonna do some speech, and then you notice that the camera kept panning on Miro but he did some really good improv, because he did the holiday song, "Don't Hurt Me No More, What Is Love?" So he did that with interacting with the crowd and got the crowd distracted. It had Sorry, go ahead.
I won't lie to you. I think Miro was the worst part about this wedding, honestly. Like, and yeah, I just, for someone that's been involved in wedding skits in WWE too, if I'm correct, you know, I would think that he might even have, since everyone in AEW seems to have creative freedom, I thought he might bring some smarts, some experience to this. Let's do this a bit differently, you know.
Yeah.
I thought like the actual wedding ceremony, and by the way, for those that don't know, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford actually got married. Like yes, they are engaged in real life, but that was their actual wedding. Like that wasn't a joke. That, huh?
What do you mean?
That was their actual wedding.
What are you talking about? What the actual in that
Their actual wedding is what you saw in the ring. Yeah, maybe they done like the official registrar, you know, stuff in the back, but that was their actual wedding.
Yeah, are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. It's been reported. It's been confirmed. That was their actual wedding. Of course, there's paperwork when you get married. Like I said, that probably happened in the back or something like that. But that was their actual wedding. No jokes. So, you know, I thought their little bit at the beginning was decent. And then when Miro took to the mic to do the speech, I just thought, where are we going with this? You know, he was saying stuff like, I'm your gift, I'm the only gift you need. Like, where are you going, bro? Like, I just didn't get it. I thought the crowd saved him the minute they started singing, and he got some heat back by going after the crowd in that instance. And then yeah, like you said, it was obvious if it wasn't in the giant present, someone was gonna be in the cake, and that was what it turned out to be.
So I noticed, like, because this shows you that I've been so like in and out of AEW. I blatantly from the start of AEW, not from the start, because I was actually watching the whole show at the start, and then I got like, this show's all right, and I was like, so you can tell with my AEW watching, it's definitely been on wrestlers I'm invested in. So
yeah,
anyone that I'm actually interested in remotely, I just go to their parts, and then anything else, I just kind of skip. I did not realize that Sinister Minister is in AEW now. Is that his name in AEW? Because he was the priest.
No, but he was just for the wedding. So I think he recently officiated some wedding in TNA or in Impact. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I think they just brought him over.
Okay, so it's like a cameo
character. Yeah, exactly.
Because they're working with TNA, that makes sense. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what the hell is he doing here? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. And so basically, Chuck Taylor planned some sort of thing where Rusev was handcuffed to the ring.
Yeah.
And then Orange Juice Cassidy pops out of the wedding cake and disrupts the wedding. Kind of, you've seen it all before. Very WWE. Well, WWE probably does better weddings, but very much after WWE ilk of.
Yeah. It's a typical wrestling wedding where something is 100% going to go wrong.
All right, let's talk about this main event. This main event was probably arguably one of the best main events I've seen in a long time. This is what I want to see with AEW. This is when I was messaging. I'm in a WhatsApp group with my good friends. Shout outs to the legendary grime DJs Butters, Royalty, and Elijah, and my boy Wayne McKell. We all have a WhatsApp group together, because they're like me, wrestling enthusiasts, but they are very much on the AEW side of things.
Okay.
And they very much criticize WWE, and they message me a lot to be like, "Hey, Skillit, you can't defend this man." Oh, this is what they do. They're like, "Skillit, Hogan's coming on this week. How do you feel, Skillit?" And I'm like, "Oh, come on, man." And then they know because I got a relationship with WWE, so they're just trolling me a lot. But when. So basically, they know that I've taken a hiatus on wrestling. They know I've come back with the kick out again, but they don't know for sure if I'm still watching AEW. And so they were like, "Skillit, man, you're not watching this, are you?" And I went, "Actually, I'm currently watching the main event right now, and I'm actually really loving it." So yes, this is what, if I want to see something from AEW, this is it. It's great wrestling, just back and forth with all the talents that they have. And wow, what a main event. So you had Pac, Ray Phoenix, and
John
Moxley versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Talk me through this match. Tell me your thoughts. Let's go.
Very, very good match. Very entertaining. In the promos before, Moxley kind of drew back to his days of being in 6-man tags, obviously with the Shield, and that he was looking forward to this. Ray Phoenix, I just don't understand how this guy isn't kind of getting the push. I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that he's having trouble with Lucha Underground in regard to his name. I'm hearing stuff like Penta, his brother Penta El Zero, has got visa issues. I think these might be little kind of things that they're holding back on giving him, the full-on push.
What do you mean push? What do you mean? Because from what I see, Ray Phoenix is getting main event matches. He's facing against Kenny Omega. He had a great match with Kenny Omega a few weeks back. He's in the main event this week.
He's being spotlighted well.
Yeah.
For me, I call those good spotlights, but he's not given he doesn't look like someone that's going to win a belt or anything anytime soon. So
I think that's a good thing. I think that's
I'm not against his positioning. I just think when I watch him, I think this guy is incredible. I just feel like if ability was to equal championships, he should have the whole lot. Obviously, we know it will happen.
It will happen.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. But like I said, I think there's some things going on in the back, which make them maybe think, okay, let's hold off on this anyway for now until those are all straightened out. The Good Brothers obviously coming over from Impact as the Impact champions, teaming with Kenny Omega, seemingly the leader of Bullet Club US. I think the Good Brothers are just having the time of their life. Obviously, they've come out on record and said they should have signed with AEW rather than re-signing a contract with WWE and then getting kicked out and then having to go to Impact. So now the fact they can work for Impact, work for AEW, and, when borders open up, probably work for Japan. They're absolutely loving it, and you could tell. And Kenny Omega, he's just doing some good stuff. This isn't his best work, I don't think, right now.
He's the best. But he's still the best.
Oh yeah, he's still the best. He's just not doing his best work right now. But it's still very, very good.
He's saving that for main events. He's saving that for
100%.
I feel like once the crowd gets back in play, he's gonna storm rocket back to that NJPW style of Kenny.
Yeah.
He probably can't do exactly that style because obviously as years goes on, you lose a bit of fatigue, you lose a bit
of course.
But he's still the best. He's still amazing.
100%.
So this was an amazing main event. The Good Brothers picked up the win, right? The Good Brothers picked up the win.
Yes, Luke Gallows pinned
Pac.
Ray Phoenix, I think
Ray
it was.
Phoenix, and then he hit Pac with the knee.
Yeah.
Now, before we talk about this, the ending of this main event that we know we're going to talk about. So obviously that happens. They get the win. Full heel Bullet Club style. Kenny and the Good Brothers attack Ray Phoenix after the bell. Then Lance Archer, is that his name now?
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, I'll keep calling him Lance. Lance Archer comes in, knocks out, chases away the Good Brothers, and you have Moxley in the ring with Kenny. Now, Moxley's about to do something to Kenny, and then somebody, bang, blindsides Moxley with a mask and whatnot. Now, before we talk about this guy, who this person is, let's go back a few weeks when Moxley invaded New Japan. And because Moxley holds the United States Championship and he hasn't defended it a while. And there was a lot of call outs from Kenta in Japan calling out Moxley, saying he wants that belt. So Moxley shows up in New Japan, attacks Kenta, right? So now the guy who attacks Moxley in AEW takes his mask off, it's freaking Kenta. Now, this is a really big deal because it could mark so many things. Now, we heard some news that broke today that it's official, what it's marking. But before we get to that, your thoughts on Kenta being the first person to kind of officially, well, I guess Moxley is the first person because he made that transition by going to But Kenta, the first New Japan star to kind of really make that official, listen, and we're coming to AEW. What do you thought of this booking? I think it's exciting. I think this is great. This is kind of what I wanted to see. So any other kind of invasion stuff, I wasn't too, obviously the Good Brothers from Impact was great, but it wasn't I didn't think it was anything revolutionary. But the Kenta thing could actually be definitely revolutionary. Your fault.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very happy for Kenta as well. He's someone that I've enjoyed his work for a long time. I do think in the last couple of months, he's been spinning his wheels in New Japan, walking around with the briefcase, same as like WWE with the Money in the Bank, the US briefcase, which shows he's the next in line basically to have the challenge. But it's like he's been defending the briefcase and doing stuff like that just because he can't get at Moxley given the world pandemic and stuff. So now they can finally further this feud. I'm just happy it was him because he has been put in an awkward position in the last couple of months, and he done a great job. He just sold it as someone that's pissed off. Like, I'm pissed off. I've had to be waited. I've pissed off that this guy came and attacked me, and now I've caught him, where he is, sort of thing. So and I'm sure you probably saw the interaction he had with Kenny.
I love
afterwards, after the show.
Tell him to fuck off.
Yeah. So that was good.
The too sweet sign, and
yeah.
I don't care about you. I'm just here to get my thing. And
yeah.
I think this is a definitely, the expression, the cream rises.
Yeah.
This is what this is, and I couldn't think of a more deserving wrestler. I've been a Kenta fan since 2002, bro. Like, when I see that man wrestling Noah, and I wasn't even a big fan of Noah wrestling like that. I watched a few matches. I watched the infamous matches that they've had in Noah that displayed. Everybody knows what infamous matches I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And another wrestler that really took my eye was Kenta. And there's a few wrestlers that have really changed wrestling to what it is today. You have Low Key, you have Kenta. I'm gonna say Miswa. These are the wrestlers that really changed wrestling for today. And it's good to see that Kenta, somebody who, you have like these WWE wrestling stars who took his style. You got the CM Punks, you got the Daniel Bryans, and I love CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Don't get it twisted, I love them. But they definitely took Kenta's style and made millions out of it. And
glamorized it.
Yeah, that's it. They made it mainstream. But you see now in 2021, Kenta finally getting that rub that he deserves. So this is good to see, man. And I can't wait to see this match between him and Moxley. Obviously, I feel Kenta will definitely take the US title back to NJPW. And today, what happened today? Today was announced that AEW and New Japan are now broken a deal where they're going to be mixing it up. What's your thoughts on that? This is very exciting stuff, man.
It's great. It's great for wrestling, and this is my whole thing when you asked about the inception of AEW. Like, this is it. This is just creating more opportunity for everyone. I think behind the deal, there's a couple of moving parts and a couple of reasons why this could happen. Obviously, when the elite guys left New Japan, it was very much sour. They weren't happy that they had given the elite guys so much power and spotlight, if you like. They were pretty much counting on the elite guys to help their transition to the Western audience, because they started this kind of, doing shows in America and all of that kind of stuff. Then they all left to went and go start their own promotion, being AEW. We then had the owner of New Japan at the time left. So it was always reported then that guy that they fell out with has now left. It's only a matter of time before they start doing business with New Japan. Yeah. And now we've seen the last month or so, I think in January, it was announced that New Japan have actually got a TV deal over in America. And I think they're going to be on, Roku TV, I think it is in America.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are all the kind of things that makes it think, well, it's becoming more and more possible. They've been in America a lot of the time now doing their New Japan strong shows. That's actually where Moxley attacked Kenta. It was in the LA, it's in their LA dojos that they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when they made that happen. And Moxley was always allowed. He had a deal to go to New Japan and defend and have wrestling matches over there. But as soon as obviously it's going to be televised on US TV, that's where his deal stops. That's where AEW wouldn't let him do it. So they had to have this conversation with Tony Khan to basically allow Moxley to defend the US title on US soil, on US TV. And it looks like Tony Khan has basically stretched more than just a one-off, okay, Moxley, you come and do that and come back. They've kind of brokered this entire deal for the partnership. So it's just brilliant for us wrestling fans, and amazing that they've, each company are going to have access to the amazing rosters that they have.
Do you think this would have happened if the pandemic wasn't here?
I would like to think it would have happened. I think the key for it, like I said, was the owner that the elite guys fell out with left New Japan, and when new chairman or whatever came into play there, it was always probably just going to be the right opportunity, or something was going to happen before it was too late. I guess now, you know, it just shows, for instance, how influential we might be looking back in some years' time and saying Moxley is one of the most influential wrestlers of all time, because New Japan could have just stripped him of the US title.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Problem solved.
Yeah.
But they want him. They want Moxley on their programming. AEW said, well, you can have him, but if it comes to US TV, you can't have him. They've sorted something out, so everyone's happy. Fans are happy. So, yeah, it's crazy.
So one reason why I'm quite excited about this, because I don't tend to get excited about invasion storylines anymore. But the last time New Japan did something similar to it, well, it was an invasion storyline. It was the original invasion storyline, was against the UWFI in '95, I think. And even though I didn't get to see much of it at the time, I remember the buzz around it through the. I used to collect magazines called Power Slam, and this is way before the internet. Yeah. It got a lot of critical praise how it worked out, but I didn't. Then I did my little independent research back, looking back, and apparently the UWFI guys didn't. They kind of looked a bit inferior to NJPW, because what it was the UWF was a form of former NJPW wrestlers that formed that company to go and invade NJPW. So it was a fever pitch. I remember Muto was the champion at the time, and it was very much like Buzz Sheets was going crazy, and it seemed to pay off, and that what influenced the NWO. So and obviously that NWO first year invasion angle was incredible. I think WCW planned that perfectly. They didn't do anything wrong. And then after Sting won the title against Hogan, everything just went crazy after that. And then you had the WWE invasion angle with, well, actually they had a decent one with ECW that was actually quite fun.
Yeah.
That was actually quite good, but they didn't last long. And then you had the WCW WWF invasion angle, which was not good. Had some highlights that I liked, but it wasn't like, there was some moments there you're like, oh my God, this is brilliant. But what would have been great was in the actual invasion in pay-per-view, if they, obviously we all know why they couldn't do it because of all contract issues and whatnot. But how I would have booked, if they were able to get the contracts of these stars to come down and invade on the pay-per-view, what would have been great was to do the WCW thing and the ECW storyline against WWF.
Yeah.
And then at the main event with the 5-on-5 match, instead of it being Austin, the one that turns heel and joins WCW, it would have been great if NWO just showed up and just attacked everyone. Everyone. Doesn't matter if you're WCW, doesn't matter if you're ECW, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Attacked everyone. And now the invasion storyline turns into, are you WWF or you NWO? So that would have been great. I thought to see that. But that didn't work out. Is there any other invasion angles I'm missing out?
That was it. I mean, a mini one in the Nexus, if you want to class that.
Nexus,
but
yeah. People really enjoyed that. I have to admit, I wasn't really watching wrestling too tough when that Nexus storyline happened. Well, I was watching pay-per-views, but I wasn't watching Raw.
Yeah, week to week.
So a lot of people have this emotional attachment to how Nexus was. I didn't have that, but I did look back. I could see why, because that debut they did when Daniel Bryan did the choke around Justin Roberts and they destroyed the ring. That was amazing. I could see why. That was some shocking stuff. So I could see why people loved that. But they dropped the ball with that again. I hope they book this with some intelligence and integrity. Like they really look to make both companies look strong.
Yeah, they have got to. And my only thing, which is a question mark, which I guess we may wait and see, is this actually going to be AEW versus New Japan, or is this going to be a Bullet Club like World War? It's like a civil war, because we've got obviously the Bullet Club guys currently in Japan that are, making fun of these guys like Gallows and Anderson and stuff running around here doing Too Sweet, saying you left us and all of this kind of stuff. So I actually think that may be the better story rather than doing like the trademark company versus company. Okay,
that's an interesting take. I think you might be right there, because what you can do in that sense is mingle some of the biggest stars to go together instead of having, maybe a random Japanese star against a random AEW star. Like,
yeah. Like you said earlier, Kent has already kind of shown where he stands. He's not messing with Kenny Omega. Like, I'm going to tag with you this week because I can get my hands on Moxley, but I'm not here for this pally with all Bullet Club stuff. Like, there's clearly a division. So
this could potentially be a massive money earner for both companies.
Yeah.
I would love to see Jay White versus Moxley.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
You know, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Tamatonga, the Gorillas of Destiny versus
Tamatonga has a lot to say right now. He is not happy because obviously I think he's original, Bullet Club, like OG. Yeah.
It was Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah.
It was Finn, and it was who I'm missing. Oh, and not Carl, Luke Gallows. Original 4?
No, Anderson. Yeah, Carl Anderson.
Carl was part of the original 4, wasn't he?
Yeah, Carl Anderson, Bala, Tamatonga, and Fale.
Carl, Finn, Tama, and Balak Fale, and then then Luke Gallows joined later. Yeah. Like I remember the original Bullet Club. I was there for all of that. I fell off. I think I fell off after Mega left.
Oh, okay.
Even when the Mega joined and the Young Bucks joined, I was still definitely into my NJPW, but I think the more people that kept joining, I was a bit like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was some good shit.
Yeah, Tama's not happy at all right now, but same way that they can leverage it into a really good storyline.
Okay, so this is some exciting stuff. Let's talk about quickly Edge. So Edge in WWE, the Royal Rumble winner of 2021. He went on Raw to confront Drew McIntyre. Kind of gave Drew a bit of a bollocking to say, hey, why are you being nice to everybody? You got a target on your back. Showed up in NXT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he confronted Finn and Pete.
Yeah.
Then he showed up. Oh, and then he was also talking to some people backstage. Like I think he had him and Karrion Kross had a little exchange.
Yeah. Karrion Kross was telling him you don't need to be worried about either of those guys that you previously mentioned, because by WrestleMania or whatever, I guess, it's going to be me that's NXT champion. So throwing his name into the hat.
He's healed back. He's back in that. Look like he's back in the main event picture again. Got a new toy. He posted that he's got a toy of himself now.
Oh yeah, I saw it. The wrestling figure. Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to be in NXT long. I think he's going to be called up very soon.
They're fast tracking him. He's definitely a main roster guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to Karrion before. Me and him used to make jokes about the Bossman segments back in the day when Bossman chopped up Al Snow's dog and fed him to him. We used to crack jokes about that. I always said Karrion is the future of WWE, and I'm glad to see that this injury didn't set him back at all.
Yeah.
And then Edge went to SmackDown and he spoke to Roman Reigns. I didn't see this. Was this a good segment?
So basically Edge came out and was saying that, I've got a lot to think about, everyone, my family, friends, even people on the road are telling me who to pick for the WrestleMania match. But he's got to take his time and think through it. Roman Reigns came out. Roman Reigns basically said that, you're going to be in the main event. I am the main event, so hurry up and pick me, say my name, acknowledge me as a tribal chief, all of that kind of stuff that he's been doing. And I think eventually Kevin Owens just came out and stunned Roman Reigns. Segment done.
Right, so here's the interesting thing now. So WrestleMania is in Florida, right, this year. It's going to be in the stadium. Apparently they're going to have some people in attendance.
Yeah, 30,000.
30,000 people, is that what you said?
Yeah, so I believe the Super Bowl is tonight as we're recording it.
And that's going to be a lot. There's people in there as well, right?
Yeah, Super Bowl I think is going to have about 15 to 20,000. So I think WWE are pretty much using the Super Bowl as its test run, its test dummy to see how this worked out with the people, maybe in terms of how they're going to sit people and stuff like that. But it was reported that WWE plan to have, because it's 2 nights WrestleMania, 30,000 on each night.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It might be very dangerous, honestly. Like, yeah, but it's as a spectacle, it's a nice way to kind of get back to how things were.
They need to test these people by it.
Yeah.
Scary. Okay, well, that's good for I'm happy. I'm part of me is happy to see it because I kind of want these wrestlers to get those reactions.
Yeah, yeah.
Like part of it's like, is this worth it?
That's it. I think the very least you said, like you said, test them on entry. Like that's it. You're not coming in if you don't have a negative test.
Yeah.
That's the least they can do.
The least they can do.
Or pay for them to have a vaccination or something. It's not like WWE don't have the money.
Exactly. It's all crazy. All right. Well, should be interesting viewing though. I guess it'd be more enjoyable than last week's WrestleMania. No offense. Like I enjoyed WrestleMania last week, but it definitely needed the crowd. So,
Yeah.
Sort of crowd. That's a very selfish thing for me to say, but I am very torn between the two. Yes, I don't want no one dying of this virus. So is it worth doing? I don't think so. But if WWE could pull it off and make sure everybody goes home safe, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Meks, anything else you want to talk about before we sign off, or is this?
No, I think the Japan stuff that we mentioned, the intermingling of these two companies is very interesting. We're gonna have Moxley versus Kenta at New Beginnings USA in the next couple of weeks. I think it's by the end of February.
As you said that, I just got excited about a match.
You know what? You said earlier on that Kenta should win, and everything says that Kenta should win, and he'll be, at least be able to go back to Japan with the title. But I think just because this deal is done, maybe Moxley retains in the first instance, and then Kenta can beat him somewhere down the line, because if they're getting used to US TV. They're gonna have USA fans watching this new show. Maybe they need a familiar face with the title. Maybe. I don't know.
I just thought of something.
Go on.
What star, apart from Kenny Omega, and besides Moxley, we get Moxley as well, and besides Jericho,
yeah.
Name another star they could put up against Okada.
Who? AEW?
Yeah. Apart from Moxley, apart from Omega, and apart from Jericho. We've already seen Jericho face Okada in Japan. Obviously, Omega, Okada, classic, legendary matches. Probably the best matches in wrestling history. I think we've seen Okada, Moxley. I swear we've seen that. I
don't think we've seen Okada, Moxley. No.
Have we not?
No.
That's someone they could put. I guess they could put them two against each
other.
But who else?
But it's interesting because the key word here is star.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that I think are very able to have a great match, like Pac, for instance.
I'm talking star.
But yeah, when you're talking star, it's
Okada's a star.
Yeah,
Okada
is difficult.
He's a star.
Yeah.
So in the world of wrestling, Okada is like Ric Flair. He's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
He's Japan's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Who you got? This is my problem at AEW. It's like there's not enough stars.
Yeah, and you know what? I said this a lot last year where Moxley was champion, and it's like, yeah, he was having matches and defending it, but it's like I didn't believe for a second that these guys, could beat him and stuff like that. So it is difficult. I guess as a new company, they're still building those kind of guys. But like I said, the closest you might get maybe Pac or a Hangman Page, maybe. It is a notch down than who you mentioned, the Omegas and Jericho.
Tanahashi, who's gonna face Tanahashi? Like, this is what I mean. It's like they've got to really be careful how they're booking this.
Yeah. Maybe that's the way they like I say, they go through the mid card first, and kind of do it that way. I mean, one match that we gotta see is Omega versus Kota Ibushi, the belts on the line and all of that kind of stuff. And just because of their history,
Omega Ibushi has to happen.
So
I can see that. Because obviously Omega Okada could be the obvious thing again, but and I guess for American audience that might be different. They could probably do one for America. That's great. Ibushi Omega 100%. That needs to happen. That needs to happen this Wednesday. But obviously that's not going to happen exactly. So there's going to be a bit more. I think they're going to slowly sow the seeds and make it safe for everybody, because does Kenta still live in the States? I think he does.
Kenta does live in the States.
That's why it was so easy for him to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
With all the other Japanese talent and COVID, how are they going to?
And this is the other thing. AEW may have more people on the US New Japan show, because in my opinion, the guys in America for New Japan aren't, you know, big names and stuff. You got like the likes of Chase Owens and stuff running around, and it's like you can't have a show of these guys.
I'm not a Chase Owens guy, man.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like,
but I don't really.
They haven't got the names.
What's the partner he has? Fantasia?
Yeah, ELP. Phantasma, yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah. But yeah, they might need AEW, especially like I say, to launch this US show, because I don't think the guys there are needle movers or anyone's gonna tune in to watch them.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. It definitely sparks my interest to go back in, because the only time I watch NJPW now is only Wrestle Kingdom. or maybe some pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Special events, but the Wrestle Kingdom, of course, because it's a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like it's WrestleMania. So every year I'll watch that. But I have fell off NJPW recently, so I might jump back on it now with this whole thing going on. All right, Meks, thank you for your time, my brother. This has been great. Where can the people find you? Where can they follow you? Yeah, please give them your socials.
WrestleManiac UK on any social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse. We're there, we're having the conversations, we're talking. So yeah, that's the places to find me. And
Meks is the new member of the Kickout podcast. So this is just the Kickout podcast, just talking the breeze. We're going to try and get some more guests coming soon. I actually want to get, if you can hook it up for us. Well, I already spoke to him. He said he's down, but it's just about the date. We get a Dazzle up in here.
Yeah.
Alliance. We'll get him on the next show. I'll try and get everybody involved in that one as well. So.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thank you for joining, Meks.
No problem. Speak to you later.
Skillit, signing out. Peace.